This is Morning Express, and glad you could join us this morning. It is now just about 5 minutes after 7, and it's time for us to look at our hot topics. Just a quick reminder that you are welcome to participate in this conversation via Twitter. I'll be looking at your tweets rather, not too long from now, and as we go on with the show, the Twitter handle is Michael G. Gitonga. But let me introduce the panel that we have this morning, and starting right here, my immediate left is Julie Masiga, who is an editor with the Nairobian. Great to have you.
Thanks, Mike.
I hope you had a good week.
I did. Fantastic.
You did, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Next is Eric Omondi. Glad to have you back, Eric. It's been a while. It's been a minute, they say.
It has. Asante sana. I'm very happy to see you back.
What have you been up to?
A lot, eh? From Matangas to travel.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. You lost your mom, and
I
the
did.
funeral was last week.
I did, yeah. But, you know, moving on.
Okay, so glad to have you back, and I see you've also lost some weight. I think
I have, am I?
Were you working out?
Adhiambo just told me that she doesn't menikumba. No, I just, you know, it helps to be away, so you sort of stick to a routine. So I just ate a lot of oatmeal, and I used to walk a lot and take the train. So the train would stop me someplace, and then I'd walk further. So
maybe you could tell us where you are, you know, because you might be thinking you are taking the train from Kibera.
Oh, no, I was in Cape Town.
I was
in Cape Town, and I used to live in a place called Stellenbosch, and I would go to the city and then walk quite a distance. And I made it a habit because I wanted to lose my guts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely worked. It seems to have worked for you.
Asante.
Okay. Adhiambo Odera, and that's pop culture specialist. Great to have you. How was your week?
Great to have you too. My week has been quite interesting, of course, from when we were here last. We will talk more about it, but we're so glad to have Eric back. I mean, we were talking, of course, we all knew that, but we just didn't want to advertise so much of it. But it's nice to see him back. And we are matching. My nails are matching his shirt.
Oh, you guys didn't send us a memo.
They didn't send us a memo, Mike. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
All right, great stuff. Now, well, it's hot topics, and let me start with you, Julie. What has been a main topic for you? What has been a hot topic for you this week? And I hope it's not the teacher strike, because that has been going on. Now we are going to week 4 next week.
Yes.
Yeah, there was that.
Week 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
4 weeks.
It's just, we were talking about it just now. It's the whole Anwai Guru thing and how people are saying so many things about her that have got nothing to do with the point. And kind of like attacking her based on her gender and what they assume that she has done or hasn't done, which I think was obviously being a woman, I just thought that she was being attacked unduly.
You think she's been attacked unduly?
In the sense that people are coming at her from all sorts of directions, which is not focusing on what actually happened.
Okay.
The money either got lost or didn't get lost, but that is the issue, not her as a woman. Yes.
And okay, and what maybe she stands for.
Yeah.
Okay. Adhiambo.
Wow, it's been a roller coaster, you know. Finally, Raila wants people to speak vernacular, you know, in the
county.
Oh, yeah, that caused the start.
And I'm like, oh, really now? And you know, for me, I'm just thinking, if it was UK who said that, I think it would have been taken in a very different context. So that was one of the things that I'm just looking at and thinking.
But do you think it makes sense what you were saying, that, you know, if it's a county office where everybody is from or understands a particular language, then there's nothing wrong in conversing in that language?
I think we were the people who were saying that we need to be able to open up counties for other counties also to be able to work with us. So if we're just going to say, for example, that if you are in, like in my county where I come from, if they were to speak the dominant vernacular in there, I would float. Because of course, like I've said before, my county is Kakamega County. So
the county is Kakamega County?
Yes, Oparanya is my governor. Please, Oparanya, you know. Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Yeah. So if that was good for the meeting, for most of the time, I would float a little, not so much. I'm able to understand a bit of what they would say, but then it will not be okay for me. But there are also other tribes. There's the Luos, and then there is the other smaller sub-Luya tribes, as you know. There's never a tribe called Luya. It's like,
it's many different dialects.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be. So I think he had a good heart saying it, but it's taking us behind. I think what he needs to be able to focus on much more is about people truly being professional in those places. And being professional in Kenya means speaking 2 languages.
But shouldn't we be proud of having like our cultural languages?
It's okay. Maybe there should be a Speak Your Cultural Language Day.
No,
I
but
think the issue would be in a public office. The fact that this is a public office, it's the same way. You can dress the way you want when you're going wherever, but there are certain offices that require you to dress in a certain way.
But aren't we Africans, Mike? So those are the languages that we speak. What's
Well,
wrong with that?
I think I'd want to interject. I didn't know he said that.
He said.
But you know, having, say, being to South Africa, they're very ignorant about what you speak. Somebody will come to you and say, and they're like, I'm sorry you don't speak that. And they're like, oh my God.
What the hell is
And they speak Zulu and Xhosa and Tswana in offices, and it's fine. And if you don't understand, somebody will go through the trouble of trying to, you know, translate it for you. So if Raila said that, I'm sure it's not lost that if somebody was trying to apply for an ID from the county level, and they're from a different country, then the person employed should
Switch to English or Swahili. Yeah.
Like most jobs applications in the south, they would say you have to speak Afrikaans, Xhosa, and Tswana, and Zulu, okay, and English. So somebody comes and says, I want to bridge and open the door. Then he'll speak in Afrikaans. And somebody else will come and say, and
you communicate. All right, shortly we're going to be joined by Smita. I understand this morning that his makeup was a mess, and we just have to take care of him because God knows where he spent the night. But anyway, he's going to be joining us shortly once the makeup artist has been able to make him look presentable enough to be on a set. And I have a feeling, well, that might not be possible. So I wish them all the best. But he'll be joining us shortly. But Julie, isn't it that it would then segregate and make some people feel out of place if then you're going to use vernacular?
I think you should be able to speak English, Swahili, and your vernacular. I don't think there's any shame in being an African and speaking an African language in your country.
I'm not sure if it's really being ashamed, but the fact that it's an official office. It's public office.
It's public
so
office.
Anybody is allowed to walk in there, whether they belong to that county, whether they speak a certain language. So it just is, I guess, a good thing to have a threshold of language where everybody can understand.
Yes, I agree. The threshold should be English and Swahili, but if you want to speak in your vernacular in your county,
should be fine.
It should be fine.
It's about conducting the business, actually, and I've always held this, and I still hold that. I think that the dominant languages should be learnt by most of the people. I am one of those people who think that if we have the first 5 big languages in Kenya, then people need to learn them. Of course, that means people need to learn Luo, Kikuyu, what else is dominant? Luya, you know, and the Kalenjin, you know, some of those. It would help. It would actually be really good if you can land in Kisii, for example, and be able to speak like I could. If you could land in Kakamega and be able to speak like I could, and if you can land in Kiambu and be able to speak okay, like you can.
I think there's nothing wrong with ethnicity. Negative ethnicity is all that is wrong with it. So let's not demonize tribes. I think I would be very comfortable with a grandmother walking from Muranga and say, and it's okay,
it's all right.
You know, and a Luo woman who can never speak in Swahili to be able to also communicate.
Get the message
in
across.
Luo.
All right, hold that thought, and remember, you at home are welcome to participate in the conversation, and the Twitter handle that you can do that at is at Michael G. Gitonga. And also do let us know what is one of those that stood out as a hot topic for you. What are some of those things that maybe stood out for you as we continue with the conversation? And now joining us on the set, finally it looks like the makeup artist has at least managed to do something that is acceptable for TV. We have Smita.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Yeah, asante sana.
Yes, good to have you.
It's so nice to be here, but it's so weird to listen to people talking at let's learn big 5 languages, like it's animals. Yeah, just forget these languages. We should just be about English and Kiswahili.
Why?
And Intamari and
Intamari.
yes, and let's just malizas these things.
But now you might be accused as being one of those who are forgetting culture. I mean, our culture is very rich, and one of the things that makes Kenya unique is the fact that we have 42 tribes, different tribes. And anybody who comes from, say, Europe or wherever, they come and they're amazed at how many tribes, and how do you guys come?
No,
so that is something
honestly,
unique.
there's no Mzungu comes and says how many tribes. Mzungus come and say, what a Maasai. Yeah, that's the fact. But
we should learn Maasai.
No, this thing for
we should learn Maasai.
That's why you are hanging out with the Sanja.
No.
With your private Maasai tutor. No, we can't have county assemblies speaking. Already we are very tribal. Then you encourage these guys
No,
to
it's
that
positive
cocoon and enclave. It's not positive.
It is
It's county
positive.
assemblies.
Celebrating your culture.
You want lawyers there just to speak in those 19 dialects over
Why
there?
not?
I think it's
What's
difficult
wrong
for
with
the
that?
people who are cosmopolitan, and really let's dissect this for what it is. if, for example, you are in Migori County, you do know that the largest number of Somalis also live in Migori County, and you get the Kurias, you also get the Luos, and you get the Subas as well in Migori County. So how would that work? I think it's the dynamics of how that needs to be used in the counties positively. I have nothing against people speaking in vernacular language. I want to learn all of them if I can.
But not official.
But not official.
Not in county assembly.
What is wrong with an African language being official?
No. We already divided.
Swahili is an African language.
I don't think language is
vernacular
divided. I don't
language.
think we are divided because somebody is Luya and the other person is Kisi. I think negative ethnicity that has been fueled by politicians.
You heard of the phrase tyranny of numbers, set along ethnic lines, set along lingual divides.
And
But
again,
also,
Eric, what is ethnic? What is negative ethnicity?
Negative ethnicity is using your tribe, at the very least, I define it as using your tribe to favor your fellow tribesperson, and yet they're not qualified for, say, a position or whatever. Say we have a Luo who's qualified and a Kikuyu who's not, and then you say, uyo ni modowanyi uba kuja. So that's negative ethnicity.
Okay.
That's what's wrong. But having a Kikuyu speaking Kikuyu in a public office, I don't think there's any problem to that. Where should they go speaking Kikuyu?
No, they can speak outside of county assemblies because they'll keep getting an isolated sense of it in Kisii.
But what if the majority of the people should understand that?
Eric, they'll keep feeling more isolated. Already there's devolution. I don't see if you know what's happening there. There'll soon be no sense of anything connecting it to national government or other cultures except the money that comes in.
But
that's what they say.
We have
I guess this is...
We will agree to disagree.
Yes, we'll agree to disagree.
Kama Kiswahili na Kizungu haikutoshi.
I think there are countries all over the world that speak their vernacular
like where?
just fine.
No,
like
name
England.
one.
Jacob Zuma speaks in Zuma.
That's the truth.
Officially where?
Cyril Ramaphosa says, Sentele No. They do.
But not officially.
Okay, one at a time. One at a time.
I can play your Malema.
Wait,
I can play your Malema video.
But it's not official.
It's official.
Not official. No, I'm getting excited because officially, when you are bad, you are Rick.
Can we have and I think this is how now it would operate. Can you imagine if we all speaking in different languages? This would be mayhem. But wait, Eric, are you saying that officially they can speak vernacular in an official capacity?
Absolutely.
But then again, don't forget.
Google that.
No.
Rick is lying. No,
okay,
it's not official.
Can I just say?
I know the South African Constitution and the official languages.
Are like 55.
I mean, there's Afrikaans in there. I think there's Zulu.
Yeah, but
there are about 11. There are about 11.
There are 11 languages that can be spoken in public, even in an official capacity.
No, okay,
so you can speak Zulu and then you say don't speak Xhosa. Is that what you're saying?
No. They can do 11.
They can do 11. There are only 11 languages, and you can address the parliament using Zulu. It's okay. You can.
But everybody has learned those. That's the difference.
Everyone has learned Zulu.
Yes. No, everybody can get the different languages. By the way, they speak.
Let's make sure we pick up this next week.
Okay, I think
after you do your research.
And at the end of the day, forget about South Africa. What we're talking about is Kenya, and Kenya, of course, has its unique issues in terms of tribalism, and I guess that's a debate that needs to continue. But of course, as you can see here, it is a hot topic.
Mike, before we move on, we speak English, and English is England's vernacular. So are we happy to be colonized?
Are you learning Chinese, Jude? Right now.
Why would I learn Chinese?
You know Mandarin. You should.
Why should I learn Mandarin?
You're making our roads. Your husband will probably be Chinese, and you'll pick him off the highway.
Okay.
And he'll be short and clever.
Moving on swiftly. My point being that we are speaking English, and it's somebody else's vernacular.
English has got so much other history.
Yeah, it has lots of history, but it's not our language. Why are you saying it's professional as opposed to Kisi, for example?
No, I think, Julie, in all fairness, it's really just a language for us, a common language that we can communicate with.
But we associate it with being professional and official and somehow better than speaking your own language.
So why don't you write some things, your columns there in Nairobi and in Luya?
Unfortunately, I was brought up speaking English.
But,
unfortunately.
Let's not be nostalgic and romantic.
I'm not being romantic. I'm just saying
have gone.
Okay, moving on.
I think we're done with that topic. Evidently, it is a hot topic, and we shall continue to be debated at some point.
You're contaminating with your
vernacular taking place. Let's stick to some of the hot topics, some of the things that were happening, and of course, one of those was the fact that Stephen Mwendo, our very own, was getting married on Friday. And I believe we have some of those pictures. I don't know if any of you managed to attend the wedding. It was at, what's this place called? Stedman Garden.
Yes.
And I think we have some of the pictures, Director, if we can have them scrolling and rolling. Yeah, and I remembered his wedding and remembered Eric, because I know Eric is one who...
Oh, the wedding guy.
He's the wedding guy. Yeah. You know, he's the wedding guy.
So he'll watch it.
Yeah. On the wedding, it's okay. There's a video. It's all been recorded, Eric.
For his benefit.
Yeah. Color scheme there, of course, was yellow, very bright yellow. And they seemed to have a good time. One of the things I remember that even was featuring was this guy who came in a chopper.
Oh, Gore Semelango.
Yeah, Semelango.
I actually missed that chopper because he couldn't land at my building. It's a true story, by the way. He did call me. You can ask him.
Hey.
That just had to come. I wonder why.
And one of the arguments there's a chopper. One of the arguments that he had was, what is the big deal with him coming with a chopper? You know, he's just saving on time, really. And I guess we're getting to that age where if you can afford it, why not? It's just a means of transport.
I guess. That
really it is.
People who have class and money, I don't think have to advertise it though.
Yes, in some secret place in Mombasa, I believe.
There's nothing secret about that location.
It's very much published as at today.
As at today.
Now
we know. Okay, but congratulations to Steve, and wishing him all the best.
So Solo cleaned up.
And there is Solo. No wonder Solo is not around. I don't know if he went to write a script. He was
probably the third. On their honeymoon. He's just hanging around like, yo, what's up, boy?
Yeah. So congratulations to Stephen Mwendo, and we wish him all the best. And may they live happily ever after. Is anybody here who's thinking about, inviting us for our wedding soon?
If we were to say it, then it will stop being really interesting. But yes, those plans are underway.
Oh, they're
most
underway.
of us, yeah.
Okay, we are not saying who yet.
2017.
Let's just look down and
2017.
2017. Let's just gaze at the red carpet.
Eric, you were in South Africa. Did you manage to attend any wedding, and are they any different from Kenya? Right now, I know in Kenya, weddings are part of the industry that generates a lot of it's a huge industry.
No, I didn't. I have more friends in Joburg than I do in Cape Town. So nobody invited me for a wedding. But I went for a birthday here and there.
Okay.
I don't think weddings are that big in SA. Maybe in the white side of South Africa. But I don't think the black people are very traditional. So there's going to see your go-go and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I know they make a big deal out of. I attended 1 or 2 weddings in South Africa, and one thing that I must admit is that they really enjoy their weddings. They start very early in the morning, and you know how we walk into church very sanctimonious mathematically. For them, they don't. They dance their way in. They literally have a ball as they're coming in.
Everything does.
But they also make a big deal of what they call lobola. Lobola is like
the
dowry. So they make a big deal out of it. So anyway, interesting just to see some of that culture meltdown. One of the on a sad note, also this week was Sonko's dad's funeral, which took place on was it Saturday?
On Tuesday.
Sorry.
On Tuesday.
Oh yes, on Tuesday, sorry. And it was apparently it was very star-studded, plus of course with the Sonko rescue team that normally takes care of funerals. This time now was taking care of that, but also the cars that were there were quite to behold. But interesting that he also gave what do you call it, a leaf to
an olive branch.
Olive branch, that's the word I was looking for.
Olive.
Olive branch to Kidero.
Yeah,
and
finally.
he said that no more war, and he's going to, donate the Sonko rescue team to the county. So I don't know your feelings on that and thoughts on that.
Of course, everybody knows that Sonko is over the top. That was expected. This is his dad, and I mean, we expected something extraordinary, and yes, for me, he delivered on the over-the-top situation of everything. The coffin, if it were to bring back someone, probably it would. I mean, it was gold encrusted and diamond encrusted. I mean, I'm thinking that those people who used to steal, you remember there was a time and era where we used to go and dig up a coffin and take, I mean, I would be those people right now just thinking about it. Over and above that, I think it was really well organized, and he brought together really two feuding sides. That was the day you saw Chord and you saw Jubilee, and everybody was trying very hard to be on the podium and be able to talk. And I think it was classic that he actually disbanded the Sonko rescue team and gave that to Kidero. That is one man who is after everybody's heart, and he will actually one of these days become the next big thing in Nairobi County. Watch.
It's amazing, eh? Every time people are at funerals, they get amazed, people like my dear friend Princess here, that they disbanded the feud, they became friends. We do that as Africans all the time at funerals. We always say we'll be best of friends. There's something about death that brings Africans together until the body is 6 feet under.
Then we remember.
And then we begin feuding again. When she says he'll become something big in Nairobi, she means he'll be governor. Everyone knows it's the Sonko team. So giving it to the county is just handing a poisoned chalice to Kidero. That friendship won't last. That's just during the tears. Once that is finished, we'll go back to feuding. In fact, you saw people already, straight out of the funeral, enemies of development already attacking Mutua. That the Senate didn't get a chance to give its condolences.
Apparently, the protocol was not followed.
But these are people pretending about protocol when in reality they are still attacking Governor Alfred Mutua, because they are envy about his development.
But I think it's a good thing, as much as maybe that is your opinion and entitled to it. At least it's a good thing that he extended that, and we hope that it's going to last. Time will tell, but I think it's a good thing to make amends. And I don't know if it's an African thing. At death, that's when we do it, but at least it's an opportunity to do it. I don't know what you think, Eric.
I think disorder is the bane of most African countries, and to reverse that is a bit commendable. Though in the most minute of terms, I think it's commendable that he would retract from his ever so abrasive character.
And I guess it was also, as he mentioned, one of his dad's desire to have the two of them see eye to eye. So I think he was honoring that as well.
I wish he did it when the dad was alive.
The dad told him
no,
that,
apparently his dad had been trying.
Please be friends with the Evans Kidero.
No, he had been trying for a long time to tell him that this feud between you and Kidero must stop.
But why should it stop? Sonko is after the governorship. All this, why are we pretending, why are we collaborating in this fiction? It's not true. Sonko is not going to be abrasive at his own father's funeral. But watch this space. I can tell you by the end of the month, we'll be back to normal.
Time will tell. Judy, I don't know what your thoughts are on this.
It's very sad and unfortunate, but I agree with Tony.
You didn't call him Tony, wow.
Mr. Mochama. when he's annoying, he's Mr. Mochama. So, anyhow, I agree. At funerals, people say things. You feel emotional. You feel like my life, something so big has happened in my life, and now I'm going to change, become a better person, and you reach out and mend fences and build new bridges, but it's in the emotion of the moment. And shortly after, like Tony is saying, you often wonder, hey, what was I thinking? Why did I say that? That type of thing. And then also he was playing for the gallery because there were so many, the gold encrusted things. It was a production. So it was like a skit, almost in a sense. Also, I'm sure his emotions were genuine at that particular moment in time, but his dad has had just died. So I don't think we should say, we should take it very seriously. I mean, it was nice.
Yes.
It was like,
Well,
that was sweet.
No,
but
but here's what I'm saying. It's all right, and everybody's justified for what it is that they're thinking. But here's the thing. I think if it was a play and it's a production, I don't know how it will end, but if that was the start and the first scene, then it started very well.
But can he maintain it? It's like, it's a play with one scene, then exit
the
stage
scene
left.
was beautiful.
It was fantastic, brilliant. Can they win an Oscar or something?
Yes.
But then will you remember it next week?
Let's see.
And then
You know, at that moment, Mike, guys are thinking existentially. They're like, oh, you know, dad is dead. What does life mean? What is the meaning of life?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm already somewhere. I need to be good to my fellow brethren and be kind to my sister.
Oh, please.
And then, yeah, like,
But
Julie
you make it
put
sound
it
so-
very nicely. The next morning, you wake up and your thought is 300. With the thought you have the other 364 days of the year. It's like, I've got to be. Mimi lazima nikuwe governor. Na kukuwa governor lazima nitoe hiyo kidero na hiyo grass yake. Yeah?
Honestly,
So, back to normal business. In fact, you start regretting. It's like when you're drunk and you buy everybody around in the bar. You're saying, na kwa nini
No,
nilimpatia
but
ambulance?
you make it sound so hopeless and like there is no opportunity for peace. I think it is still a good ground for him to start it off. Time will tell whether it is going
He'll
to...
run as the deputy governor. Kumbaya, you tell him, let's hold hands.
All is fair,
Let's
love
run
and war.
together.
All
And sing
is
that
fair.
song.
All is fair in love and war. Nairobi will decide who it
All
is
is
that
fair
gonna
in love
be
and
the next.
politics,
Yes,
I suppose.
yes,
It
that's
was
the
just
same thing,
political
yeah.
at the end of the day.
Eric,
but,
don't you think it would last over time? I mean, even if...
You know, I think the only checkup for me would be that he would, you know, step back from his very, very excess self. But look, history sort of repeats itself. Look at what happened when Obama was here. People were very emotional. And like, Kenya, it is time that we change. You guys are and then a week to it, lakini watu wanakuwaga ng'ombe. I think it's just momentum. So
Thank you, Eric. I remember some local drunk who talks Bosch. Yeah, even sounded stately for 2 seconds there. That weekend we were drinking like at 3 in the afternoon on the Sunday, and he was like, hey, Kenyans, we are one, even at that twin. Yeah, the next week he's back to his blue moon.
Absolutely.
I know,
And then,
Absolutely.
Okay, so anyway, time will tell and we'll see how that goes. Let's move on
I need
to...
tissue because Eric has made me cry.
He's spoiling your makeup. No, Eric is back and he's back with a bang. Now, apparently, and Julia, the one who gave me this info, so maybe you can enlighten us. Willie Paul, I understand apparently he's been up and about.
Yeah, there's a rumor that he has a significant other who has a significant other resident in her belly, but it's just a rumor that he made a girl pregnant and he asked her to have an abortion. So I can't confirm or deny, just that the story that's going around. Adhiambo, do you have the download?
Yes, I actually heard about it, and I think Willie, you know, masaibu ya Willie continue. Yes, yeah, masaibu ya ndugu.
That name Willie is quite
First of all, the Willie.
Yes.
no.
So, I mean, it was on the internet. The news broke on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And he has done everything to deny it because he says that was just his haters, and now he's almost releasing a new single which is featuring, of course, Gloria Muliro and Kambua, and I think size 8. So he feels that probably people just want to bring in something that is not true. However, the girl, I don't think, can just be planted out of the blues to just wake up and people know you and you say, this guy, I'm pregnant with him and he now wants me to abort. I think he will have to pray harder and do anything differently, because if that girl is ready to talk the way she is, I don't know how he'll get himself out of this.
We'll wait and see whether she's going to talk. But Eric, interesting to see this, because I know you're one that mentions or says gospel artists are not just singers, they're not just entertainers, they really should walk the talk.
And isn't it funny that we were speaking about the same topic when you were seated somewhere over there? Really. Anyway,
so maybe alipata wake.
Look, I often say that success is optional, and it's also predictable. So upon you doing anything, especially being a person of Willie Paul's caliber, you want to think ahead a month or 2 or 3 or a year down the line, if this is something that is going to cause you failure or if it's going to cause you more success. So if it's something that it did, the beauty of Christianity is that, you know, the grace abound, you should make a turnaround. But cease and desist, you know, it's cease and desist. It's so sickening to ever hear such things from people that people look up to. I know a lot of young people who think Willie Paul is all that in a bag of chips, and they dance like him and they do this and like that, and you know, so if your character is going to support your trade, the better. But you can't.
But sometimes do we expect too much from them? They're
we
human.
should. We are supposed
They
to.
are.
No, we should. We are supposed to. You can't turn around and keep saying every morning, "Nimeokoka na nina damu ya Yesu." Hey! and then you're doing shots. Why are you making noise in the morning? You know, like I switch on KTN several mornings and I see these pastors and say hallelujah and they pray and whatnot. So you can't come out from that na uanze kuwa mkali. Mambo yangu na wokovu usingilie. Wachana na taska yangu. Hapana. It doesn't go. You have to be Christ-like. You know, you can't excuse yourself at okay, fine. Mimi napenda kudunda na kunywa na mashots. But ikipika injili, it doesn't go together. It doesn't go together. So either you marry into that lifestyle or you don't. Because unapoteza watume.
I think he probably needs to be honest whether he just sings gospel. Like it's not like he is born again or anything. Whether he just sings gospel, like like Giuliani just sings gospel. So he's not. He's never sat down and said, I'm. When you check his lyrics, there's nothing like Yesu Mwokozi wangu and all that. Baadaye. But then there is something to look at, especially with our gospel artists, because when it comes to having children out of wedlock, that list is long.
And not just having children out of wedlock, but God forbid that this is true, but even going to the extent of asking somebody to abort, that would be now quite drastic. Yeah. Smita, your take on this?
I don't know. I mean, I really have no comment on, I don't look up to gospel artists. I'm not part of Injilis. Yeah. We are not angels.
You are natives, right?
Just somewhere.
Sort of agnostic. Yeah, so I mean, these things, they don't interest me. I just laugh.
Willie Paul doesn't interest you?
Yeah?
Willie
Paul, I know him personally. He's just a young, excited man with a lot of hormones. I don't know if they are Christ-like or who looks up to him and does that thing you're doing. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah. But young people should realize there are other models outside of this thing of let's look up to gospel artists. Look up to Barack Obama, for instance. Yeah, you really need role models. Our church has collapsed so much. I'm amazed there are still people who are amazed that that gospel thing has
talking about gospel and looking up to people. There was a picture that was doing rounds, and I hope we have it, director, if we can just put it there. And there is a nun who was in a shop and, and she could have been buying airtime.
Could have been,
she could have been buying airtime, but of course it did round simply because of the way she was dressed. And there was there you go.
But you know what they say, the people with Catholic persuasion are not barred from drinking.
Yeah.
So within her faith,
it's all right.
She's allowed to do enough shots of vodka right at that counter. Right, and it's okay.
Yes, and it's okay.
Right, it's okay. I've seen enough bishops taking cigarettes and buying it. If you are in the Catholic persuasion and you're watching, you know that's true.
You know it.
So they drink, even bishop, wanaitwa nini padri. Weka nyama na
tatu.
It's normal.
Yes,
I remember at a pen event, there was a sister. There was a certain sister, I remember her name was Maximide. And she was Wamarula. Which was very funky. It was nice to be, because it was a pen, some school thing. But outside of the school thing, back at the hotel, I asked for vodka.
And she asked for marula.
And many people on a table. And she asked for marula.
I think if I remember correctly, you're supposed to drink within the confines of the convent. I think.
I'm not very...
I think Catholics can correct us. But they're allowed to drink. Maybe not in public if you have a uniform, but you can drink in the confines of the convent.
In high school, we had
and then you can walk out drunk and stagger like, hey.
We had a get an alcohol.
Praise God.
They don't praise God.
I thought even Jesus you know those parties you go to and then they run out of alcohol? Those things are
You can
so
trust
annoying.
Tony to know that.
Yeah.
Why do you always
Yeah.
go back to Jesus saying
No,
water
no,
into
no, no,
wine?
no, because Jesus was in some stingy hostel. He was hanging out with a lot of drunks who maliza the pombe.
He's like-
And Jesus said, what sort of party is this? And he said, it's time for me to unleash my first miracle. No, Jesus had a bag of miracles.